Welcome to my plus size grandma again, y'all. I don't know what happened, y'all. I did a whole hour broadcast, and y'all, I know I'm not going to be able to remember some of that stuff. Oh, but I will give y'all a short, brief detail of what I was talking about on it, which was, I was talking about my confessions of the guys that I talked to and falsely dated. Oh, goodness, y'all, charger issues. If y'all can bear with me for a second while I get this stuff hooked up, I want to make sure that I'm playing here. I want to make sure that it's actually playing and that it's actually live this time. Okay, it says I'm live. So let me see if I can actually hear something. Okay, so it says I'm live. Make sure that I'm playing. Okay, I'm live. Alright, so the confessions of the guys I was talking about was actually guys that I had met over the chat line and the internet. Phone line, like live links and stuff like that. I was very big on doing that. After my relationship with my two long-term relationships, I had been really wounded. I was really hurt, and I was desperate to hurt as many people as I could hurt. And so I had this organized, how can I say, black book. Very organized, very detailed. So I became 3 different people. It wasn't nothing that I would brag about, but besides my own self, I became 3 different other people. No, I didn't have a personality disorder. I just wanted to get back at men. I just was a ball of destruction. I had a cold black heart. I didn't care about anything. I couldn't feel anything. I was numb to love. Didn't know what love was. All that stuff. And so what I did was I made this black book in this big old tablet, like organized. And I was 3 different people, consisting of Coco, Trina, and Jada. And so all the guys that I would have, I was very detailed that how I had their names down so that I wouldn't get them mixed up. Because I remember one day I got a whole sheet on tablet paper where everybody's name was James. Altogether, it was about 70 guys that I played in this thing, in my game. It was my game. It was a game for me. I don't expect people to understand it. But it was a game for me. And it was because I was hurt, because I was wounded. I mean, I didn't think that people would get hurt by it. I didn't think about anything really. I was just so mad and upset and angry and bitter and scorn over what I'd already been through. So my goal was to destroy as many men as I could possibly destroy. And along the way, any friends and family that wanted to get it, they could get it too. I mean, destroyed. Basically, I was out to destroy anybody that had any sign of life in them, because I didn't have a life, because I felt like I'd been done so wrong, and that so many people knew what was going on with me. I felt like everybody had to pay. That's what I wanted. I wanted everybody to pay for what those guys had done to me, for what I had been through. I felt like everybody I came in contact with had to pay. And so Coco, as you know, Coco is also my radio name. It's actually my nickname for real. I got this name like 15 years ago. And it became one of my alias names on the chat line. Coco was more the, laid back person, humble person. And Coco always got the guys that was laid back, the guys that really love hard. I mean, the guys that was always like, good morning, I love you. Like in the morning time, should I get about 20 good morning texts? She always got the good ones. And the guys that I would say that my name was Coco to was the guys that I didn't feel anything for. Let me make this clear. My heart was black. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't feel anything for these guys. I just wanted to use and abuse them as much as I could. I got a kick out of seeing their pain in their faces. I got a kick out of seeing them cry. I got a kick out of, just playing them, period. It was a big old game to me. I didn't think, at that time, I didn't care if they committed suicide or not. I didn't care about any of them. They were just my boy toys. And they were someone that I could get on the phone with, call, and get my emotional fix. If I wanted to, have my self-esteem feel boosted, what better way to do it than to talk to a guy? Of course, though, that was temporary. It didn't last long. So, it didn't last long at all. But anyway, Coco got the good guys. They were more mellow. They were more... out of all 70 of them guys, though, none of them were church guys. I wouldn't deal with a church guy. I wouldn't deal with a guy in church. I don't know why. I just always strayed away from that type for some reason. But some of their mothers were pastors, though. And their mothers would warn them about me. They'd be like, you better not talk to that girl. Something ain't right with her. And I'd be like, oh, she don't know what she's talking about. I was turning them against their family. You hear me? I was turning them against their own mothers and fathers and their children, all that stuff. Family, friends. I had these guys isolating themselves from people. And then Trina was the next girl that I would always play. Trina was, and y'all, I'm not going to talk on this too long because I had already actually did an hour broadcast on it, but it didn't go through, so I'm going to have to get back with y'all on this tomorrow. I'm just giving you a definition of what my confession was, my confession of all these men. And it's for testimonies. It's my testimony. And I'm not in that position of life anymore. I'm a changed woman in a new direction. And this is actually something nobody never knew about me. I mean, a few family members did know, but basically nobody else knew that this was the type of lifestyle that I was living in the dark. They didn't know how cold my heart really got. I mean, I could look at you and my heart was so cold. I didn't feel anything for anybody for a long time. Okay, but Trina was the mean one. When I would put on the mask of Trina, it was mean. She was mean. I mean, that was pure out the devil. I mean, somebody could tell me their mama just passed, and I cussed them out for telling me that. One guy told me that his sugar levels dropped all the way down. Not dropped. Yeah, it was dropped. His sugar level dropped because he was coming to try to see me because he thought I was in trouble, which I was lying at that time. I wasn't in trouble. I was just doing stuff. I was just pulling his strings, messing with his emotions. And so he came up this way. I left his tail and didn't tell him nothing. He didn't know what nothing was here. We didn't have no restaurants at this time here in Candor or Bisco. It was like no restaurants literally open that time of night. And his sugar started dropping. And I was like, what you telling me for? I didn't feel nothing for him. I didn't feel bad for him. I was like, so what? I mean, that's how cold my heart was. So anytime that I would play with the masked Trina, it was when the bitterness side of me really came out, the scornful side, the side of me that really wanted to make people pay, that really just hated my life, period. I had so much hate in me then at that time. And the next one was Jada. Jada was a real sweetheart. Jada was more like the innocent one. The one that I always tried to play like, she don't ever do nothing. She ain't talking to nobody. She just home chilling. Don't do nothing but go to work, come home and chill. But the thing about Jada was, Jada actually had a lot of prison guys. Those were the ones that were attracted to the Trina personality. Was those guys that were in prison. Possibly some of those guys that were very sensitive. She always got the really extra sensitive guys that was very emotional, and they were actually the guys that was really like trying to dig into my mind. They would be trying to figure out my mind for real, but they never got anywhere because, like I said, I was very organized with this thing. I had a tablet. I had the names, the states, the cities. I had the prisons. Whatever details I could find out about these guys, I would literally write it down so I could call it back to them like I really cared. When they call, I just go to the name in the tablet, and I'd be like, because I had them on a train time, because I would tell them that I was working, and so they would have to call. It was certain times I would tell them I could answer the phone when I wasn't at work. So pretty much I had these guys under my control. I was really, it kind of puts me in the mind of the Jazzy Belle Spirit, for real. It really does. Because I actually literally was controlling these guys through the phone. I met some of them. I met a lot of them. Never slept with a lot of them, though. But I met a lot of them. I can't say that I didn't sleep with some, but I did sleep with some, but not all. Matter of fact, I didn't sleep with about... You hear me? I said about. At that time, I slept with, I think, two of them. That's how many I slept with. Because I'm not a person that's really big on sex, because I've been raped before, and I went through a lot of traumatic experiences as a younger child. So sex did not appeal to me. It was more the conversation. Conversations is what would feed me. That's what would keep me going, was conversations, just talking, getting to find out stuff about people and about these guys, and, just pulling the strings by every little detail they would give me about themselves. I mean, them guys were very open back then. I mean, they tell you anything you want to know, give you a job phone number, tell you call them on break and all that stuff. And, I had a list. This is who I got to call on break at this time. This is what I got to, I had a list of all that stuff. I mean, y'all think I'm lying. It's crazy. I hope I can find my tablet back there from where I used to do it, because if my tablet is still back there, I'm not sure though. But it had so many names in it. I mean, what they look like, the pictures and stuff. It was just like, it was like a business, really, to me. Because I didn't have any emotional commitment to them. I didn't have my emotions was not invested in them. I put on a front. I could make them think that I loved them, get anything I wanted out of them. Although material things was not my personal sight. It was not my primary sight. For being with these guys, my primary thing was to make everybody pay for what happened to me. Because I was scorned, I was mad. And I didn't get over that for a while. My thing was to have as much control as possible. As I said, these guys was on time schedules and limits, and it was on my end, it was sort of very professional. Now, am I proud of doing that stuff? No, because Trina was mad. She was cussing people out and their mama died. I mean, at that time, I just didn't care. I didn't care about people or anything. It's like, if you want my children, I didn't care nothing about you. I mean, that came down to family and everybody. I isolated myself and started doing my own thing, because I felt like everybody deserved to pay. Nobody deserved me to be in their presence, because everybody knew what I was going through, and yet half of them was the reason why I was going through a lot of it. At least that's what I thought back then. But when I look back over it now, I say, no, it's not their fault. It was my fault, because I should have stepped up out of them relationships when I first realized stuff was going wrong. But I didn't. But I didn't stop doing this until I met my little friend in 2013. That's when I actually stopped doing this. But these guys were just a collection to me. I didn't have no feelings for them or anything. And these guys literally, some of them found me on Facebook. How they found me, I don't know. But they found me on Facebook, and they inboxed me, and they said I broke their hearts. They said they'd never experienced anything like that. Yeah, I broke their hearts, and I meant to do it at that time. But now I feel really bad about it. I mean, at that time, that's who I was. They'd be calling, trying to talk to me, and sometimes I answer, sometimes I wouldn't. They'd be texting me, sometimes I answered the text, sometimes I wouldn't. And it was just a collection of men for me to play with. Boy toys. That's what I call it back then. I mean, really, it was just a collection for me to play with. But that just goes to show you that sometimes women can get hurt so bad to the point we feel like we need to get revenge. And we often hurt people that have nothing to even do with what we went through. And that's what I did. I hurt people who really had nothing to do with what I went through. They ain't have nothing. They didn't. Those guys didn't. Wait a minute. Some of them did deserve it, and some of them didn't. Some of them